I believe we have an obligation and a duty to help guide our clients into making the best decisions as it relates to mortgage and real estate and not allow them to get stuck in the sensationalized media headlines. Here's what I mean. Right now, and for the past year, mortgage rates have been a bear for us to understand, to forecast, and they are a significant, probably the number one factor on buyer activity, whether people are out there buying or they're not. And a lot of this, I believe, is self inflicted by us in the industry because we allow our enthusiasm and our guidance to our clients, whether they should be buying now or waiting, so on and so forth. We base that upon what the mortgage rates are doing. And that is a death trap for us because the reality is we don't know what they're going to do. We do our best as lenders to help guide, but we don't know exactly what they're going to do because the goalposts are being moved by the Fed, by the way the government is publishing data, from unemployment data to inflation data. Everything's constantly being changed, so it's not a perfect science. There's no way we can guide perfectly. But what I can say is, especially here in Utah, we have a systemic issue with the basics of supply and demand. There's a problem, and this problem is it's the foundation of why every buyer or potential buyer out there needs to be looking and buying as soon as possible, regardless of what mortgage rates are doing. So I looked up some stats, and I wanted to share those with you today. From the demand standpoint, Utah has a largely young population with a massive turn of buyer ready people coming of age soon, like right now, along with the nation. But Utah is even more poised for additional household formations based on the young population we have. In addition to that, we, for years, more than a decade, have seen continued increase in migration net. So that means our population net continues to grow, not only because people are having children, but primarily because we are seeing a massive increase of people moving here and staying here. That the stats here, the increase is nearly three over the past 12 years is three times the national average of population growth. So the U.S. population growth, Utah has 3x'd that amount in percentage of growth in Utah versus the nation. Clearly, we're a desirable place to be. In addition to that, 2020 to 2021, which is the most recent published data, 2022 is not out yet, that was the largest year on record for population growth in Utah. This is a big deal because from a demand perspective, demand is going to continue growing. We all see it. Our valley is changing before our eyes and becoming more and more of a desirable place to be, with more and more opportunities for people to move here for jobs and different things. Think about the Point Project in Draper. Think about the inland port out by the airport. Think even further north with some of the things going on with Hill and Northrop Grumman. There's massive growth across the Wasatch Front that is not going to end anytime soon. Now, from a supply standpoint, we're already, based on the Kempsey Gardner Institute, they published this about 6 or 8 months ago. We are currently 31,000 units short for the current need based on the then current households in Utah. We were 31,000 short. Now, there was a massive, like, 78,000 population growth just last year that wasn't baked into these numbers. So that population growth is, or excuse me, that housing shortage is getting even worse. But in addition to that, housing permits are falling. We are currently at levels pretty similar to what we saw, over the past 40 years or so. So we are not by no means at elevated levels. We're at levels that we've seen even back in the 90s where population was dramatically lower. So that's an issue because we have much higher population and about the same housing formation, or excuse me, housing units being created or built by builders as we did back in the early to mid 90s. That is a problem. Now, in addition, rental vacancies. So we've heard that the rental market is getting maybe a little less favorable, but I pulled up some data. This is straight from the Fed's website, and the rental vacancies are at there's only been one other recorded number lower than where we currently sit right now. So rental vacancies are at or near historic lows. All of this bakes down to population growth, a limited supply of housing, whether it's ownership or rental, no matter how you shake it, a limited supply of housing. What does that mean? What that means is that home prices will continue to rise because they can't do it. There's no other reason. If there's too many buyers chasing the same house, home prices are going to rise. We have a temporary reprieve on this by a little bit in the market because of what rates have done. This is what we need to encourage our clients to take advantage of because it's been overused, but it is so true. The mortgage rate is only temporary. You're only going to have this opportunity to capture a house with a discount and negotiating power for a limited amount of time. Once the rates come down, I mean, we're in for it. I think we could see another huge increase in home prices, and we just have a systemic issue with a housing shortage, which is going to cause and amplify unaffordability here. Let's hope we find ways to solve it. I know the legislature's out there to try and find solutions around this, but some ideas. Say you've got first-time buyers, which are the ones that tend to be the most difficult or the ones that think they can't buy. An idea is let's get 2 of them or 3 of them to go buy as a partnership and buy their first house. If that house over a certain period of time increases by tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, which we have seen time and time again in Utah, well, now they sell, they split it, and they have liquidity to go buy a new one on their own. Now, another idea, if they don't want to buy with friends, they can technically invest with family. So you could have a family member be a non-occupying co-borrower. They're on the title. They could invest the down payment. And when that property is sold, they have to sign off on it. So they could have an agreement where that family member receives a portion of the equity as an investment to help their younger family member get into housing and not allow this market to get away from them. So just some ideas. I've got tons of ideas and concepts that I would love to share with you and your buyers. If you have any questions, please call me. I would love to share more of this info with you, maybe in a more formal format, not so fast because I do talk fast, but I hope it's helpful. Hopefully this gives you some inspiration to share with the buyers you know and help them get into the opportunity of homeownership. My name is Brock Lassig, Cross Country Mortgage. Thanks for watching. Please share, and we'll catch you soon.